This is the question all you guys are asking me while I was taking my nap. So before I go back into my slumber, I said, well, let me address this. Because I feel that there's a lot of people out there that need to know what's happening. The M.A. Udoka story is only getting started. They could make a mini series out of this. But unfortunately, this affects real people's lives, as his life will never be the same again. Now, what's very interesting here and very scary at the same time is that there is a colluded mess of events because the Boston Celtics are screwing this thing up so badly. They are. They have handled this very poorly, and the NBA is now letting the Boston Celtics know we're not going to clean up your mess. You want the NBA to come in and say, okay, now we're going to start disciplining people. No, this is your mess. You clean it up. The NBA has not come forward to save the Boston Celtics from themselves. Now, one of the trending rumors of the internet is that one of the starting players went to management about Ime Udoka because he was on them too much, driving them to be successful, and they rebelled. And they decided to tell about his affairs to management. Then there's another report saying that the player that was on the team was Cantor. Cantor rather. Ennis Cantor, who used to be on the Celtics, now he's not. He was the one, and that's why they got rid of him. You know, it's all theatrical, people. No, we're not, sir. No, we're not. Especially if you knew what I knew. Now, here's the situation, people. That is 100%. Okay? 100% a lie. I will tell you later how I know this is a lie. But as of right now, what you need to know that the teammates went and told on the coach because he was on them is made up fan fiction. Adam Cantor, I don't know where they came up with that, but he is gone for a whole nother reason that had nothing to do with this. Okay? What I will tell you is that this thing is beyond messy. He made the situation worse by doing something stupid. He did not know what was actually transpiring here. The Boston Celtics didn't even know what was going on. And I will take it even further. The players really didn't know what was going on. Plus, the players don't do that. This isn't the first time this has happened where a coach has dated somebody that worked at the company. This has happened plenty of times. Players have dated assistants that work there and everything. If they went and did an investigation, crack down on all of this that's happened, this is what Matt Barnes was trying to tell you in the first message that he deleted. Because he didn't have the details. Then he was called and got the details. Kendrick Perkins called and told him fully what was going on, and he said, "Oh man, I didn't know that. Well, let me back down, and I will retract what I said because I didn't know this thing's gonna be a mess. It's gonna be an S storm that come out and hit." The only reason he was not fired immediately, people, and this is very important for you to hear so that you can understand, there's a reason that this man was not fired immediately. And the only reason he was not fired immediately is because he's black. They're the Boston Celtics. He's black. You fire this man on the spot. You have to provide all this information now and bring it to the forefront. It becomes public immediately. There's a massive storm as to why this man was fired. So what they did was suspend him, wait till this thing dies down, and then they will terminate him from the team. They'll handle all lawsuits or whatever's pending, pay off whoever they got to pay off, and keep this thing as quiet as possible. See, there's more to the story, Lena, that you will find out later on. I might tell you today. I got the NFL games today, but I might tell you everybody later on what's really going on. As everything is starting to be leaked to the public slowly, it's all pouring out to the public because they want it to be leaked because here's the problem. The women that work there are very pissed off with the Boston Celtics because they're being harassed. Their social media, their Twitter live. Most of them they're married, they have families, they have boyfriends, and social media is just grabbing all of their pictures from the courtside interviewer. She's really pissed. She was the most pissed out of everybody. You know, it's a few of them, a black woman, but when the white girl got pissed, then that's when they cared. You know, so she was pissed because this is affecting her life. They're taking her pictures and putting it up with the coach, and it's not her. And she was very pissed off about this. So that's what they cared. They didn't care when the sister was being thrown around. Yeah. They didn't care. So when the white girl got upset, then they started to pay attention, and that's when you seen the press conferences. You know, the women, I found that to be disgusting because they were pissed off that the Celtics took this long to come out with a press conference. The day he was suspended, that press conference should have happened. Then they had a press conference that didn't cover anything. Another problem. Oh no, we're gonna let you know how the Celtics found out. I'll inform you on this. But this was just to address the rumor that's going around. The rumor that's going around is that the team told on the coach, or one of the players went to the office and told management about the coach. That's never going to happen in the NBA because it's like an untold rule. They don't do that there because the players are just as dirty as the coach. The most of the players in the league, they sleeping with people they ain't supposed to be sleeping with. More than the coaches. So yeah, that's not the case. Not the case at all. So no, there is no M.A. Udoka being ratted on by a player. That's fan fiction. Ennis Freedom Cantor was not fired because he went there to tell on Udoka, or Udoka rather. He's gone because of his religious beliefs and him fighting over in China. Yeah, we'll get into that, and we'll get into her role. Now that people are learning that she is a travel agent and handled the travels for the coach and even Nia Long, as far as her coming to Boston. She actually handles the travel agents. You know, she handles the travel arrangements for the coaching staff. So it wasn't unusual for him to have her phone number in his phone. So we're going to get into a lot of that later on because that's going to put the pieces of the puzzle all together for you because there's more information. There are other women involved, at least one other one that we know, but she's not really involved in this, except for she had an affair with the coach. That's it. But other than that, that was over. And that's not even a big deal. But now it's how many women are there? Who knows? But for this specific one, you know, she was the one that this whole thing is revolving around. And there's a reason for all of this. And we'll get into that at the later moment. See, what the Celtics are doing is leaking this stuff out on the internet, giving it to any information or any player that used to work for them that will spill it on the streets so it could be on the line and on the internet. And so the people will have this information and it would alleviate everyone going to bother the other women who had nothing to do with it. That was the Celtics' plan. Well, a lot of people were attacking the Jaylen Brown. They assumed it was Jaylen Brown immediately as the player that told on Udoka. So that came to the forefront. And people started telling me that Ennis Cantor was the guy. And I'm like, Ennis Cantor? Hell no. Exactly. The Houston Texans did that to Deshaun Watson. But there was a reason why all those guys lost their jobs because they tried to sabotage him, and the NFL saw that, and then that would become a really big issue, and that is a no-no with the new NFL policies. You can't do the good old boy ways anymore. They had to fire everybody because they even suggested and put some of the women on him. They arranged it, which was illegal, which was against the NFL's, code policy. They're not supposed to do that. But they did it anyway. They were doing it. This is a thing that was told to Deshaun Watson. Like, yo, man, get you a massage girl. They come over, they do a whole bunch of other stuff. They do something strange for an extra piece of change. And that's what happened. But those girls that complained work for the Texans. Quote unquote, allegedly, because it's not a titled job, but they were massage women who were out of work because of the pandemic. They needed extra ways to make money. So they would give happy endings. Some would even sleep with them. That's why there's no criminal charges. That's why you think he's not in jail. Because they can't lock him up for it because there was nothing. These women wanted to do it. They took the money and had sex with him. So, what is the problem? They just don't like the way it looks. So he's got to miss damn near a whole season. But the team, once he decided to trade, they said, okay, let's put all the information out on him. The judge is on the payroll. Now, Udoka was aired out in public when they should have handled this behind closed doors. Now, if this was Brad Stevens, this would have been handled before it had been handled closed doors. Then they would have made a press conference to smooth it over to the general public, but everything would have been settled. You see, that's where the racism comes in at. Remember, I told you the Celtics organization, they try to not show that they're racist rather than to not be racist. Instead of not being racist and that be the focus, maybe we should learn how not to be racist. They just want to show that they're not racist. Like, let's show that we're not racist. That's the NBA. That's the NFL. They'll rather show that they're not racist and try to show the world to convince people that they're not, rather than actually not be racist. So they go through this step to try to show that they're not racist. We're not going to fire the guy. We're going to give him a proper suspension, and then we're going to go and investigate and do this dog and pony show. Then we're going to fire him. Because if we just fired him, everybody be like, look how they do the black man. He went to the NBA Finals, and over this, because he cheated on his wife, they said it was consensual. So that's going to be the way they leaked this out to the public was a mess. Because the wording is all wrong in how this was delivered to the public by saying it was consensual. So if it's consensual, then why the hell is he suspended? And he's the only one that's going to be punished. It wasn't making sense. There was no details into the situation. So that right away blew everything out the water. Had this been Brad Stevens, he failed up. Everybody was calling for his head to be fired because he kept failing with the team he had. He kept failing. And they was like, man, you got enough talent to win. Why are you not winning? So instead of firing him, they make him the executive vice president of the company. Based on what? He was white. This man came there and failed considerably and failed upwards. Get an executive vice president's job. So Ime Udoka comes in, goes to the NBA final with basically the team you had. He brought some extra pieces in, but his coaching decisions and how he coached in these championship games got him to the NBA final. Now that you're president of basketball operations, it would take about 3 to 4 years to really see your work because everybody there is basically Danny Ainge's work, not yours. So we're yet to see what you can do. So these next 2-3 years, the assistant coach is going to be the coach. The guy, Joe, what's his name? Malatali, whatever. He's going to be the head coach for this season. While they go on basically a coaching expedition to find out who's going to be their next coach. It's not going to be Doc Rivers. Stop. Everybody was saying that they're going to get Doc Rivers back. They're not getting Doc Rivers back. Trust me. He will never coach for the Celtics again. Now, later on today, we're going to have an explosive live stream because we will tell you and break down to you why this all went the way it did and how. Now, everyone knows, and this is why Stephen A. Smith said what he said, because he was pointing out the racism part of it, and Malika Andrews jumped the gun and just tried to defend, thinking people were attacking women because that's her claim and her calling. And we got a video coming out about her in my I Told You So section when we broke down her lineage and her sister and everyone else, and the fact that she's black and Jewish. And I'm like, she's not what you think. Everybody's like, hey, we got a sister in there. We people fought for her to come up in the ranks, but there's a reason Maria Taylor is gone and she's there. And we're gonna show you all about that, tell you about that in the next video that we do that's coming out today. Even though I'm telling you, we were working hard. Even though it's football season and when college football and everything, I'm keeping up everything and keeping everybody informed up to par. But what's going on? Well, what you do know is that this woman knows Nia Long. They're in communication with each other. That woman and Nia Long, because Nia Long, she does the travel for the team. That was her task as a staff member. For the coaches, she handles the travel arrangements. So Nia Long was moving to Boston permanently. So she was handling the travel arrangements for that as they have to go find a home and a community where, players or NBA players would live in the area. When you're not from here, you don't know the area. So that's her job, is to find the residents, handle the travel with her team and her agent. Her assistants, they contact her. So it was not unideal for Udoka to have her number in his phone and communicate with her. But we're going to get into all the details, buddy. Now, she has 3 children, 2 girls and a young boy. The young boy is, the youngest child is definitely, it's not saying it's the coaches, but she did have a baby, 3rd child. So to say it's the coaches, no. Is it rumored that it's the senior vice president of the Boston Celtics? Yes, that's what I've heard also. There's also another woman that was not being mentioned, but he had an affair with another woman too, but I think that broke off. But they just throwing that in there to just say he's been cheating. So it is what it is, but there's more to this story that you guys really just don't know yet. And we're going to get into that because a lot of people want to know how the Celtics have come to this information that they have. And I'm just here to let you know now that the story that's going around is a lie. It is a complete 100% lie. No player went into management and told the Boston Celtics about the affair with Emi Udoka. That is a lie. I know that rumor is floating around. I'm here to debunk that rumor. 100%, it is a lie. 100%. That somebody made that up out of thin air. How would I know that? That's for me to know and the world to find out. But I guarantee you one thing, I'm right. That's one thing I can tell you, I'm right. Why did the Celtics choose to do it this way? Because the person involved is white. He is black. There's racist organization, racist people that work there. And because of this, they're in a racist environment, Boston, one of the most racist cities that there is just known facts. So that culture is within the organization. And they rather show that they're not by putting on displays to show that they're not and that they are diverse. One of the main things racist people do. You ever see a racist person when they get called out for doing something racist and they point out the black people they know? Oh, I'm applaud. There's Brad. Look, there's Brad. He's black. I know Brad. Instead of saying I'm not a damn racist, they just be like, how can I be black? They asked George Bush that. George Bush Jr. And it's like, are you racist? I got two answers to that. Colin Powell, Condoleezza Rice. So, what do you mean? That just makes it worse. So the Celtics took this avenue of racism and ran with it. And you know it's racism, and people be like, man, black people love to call it. No, black people they understand racism when they see it because they're the ones that's mostly the victim of it. So they automatically recognize it when they see it, and other white people can't see it because they're not the ones that normally get hit with the racism. So, of course, it's oblivious to you. But let me explain to you what we see. We know right away if this was Brad Stevens, how this situation would have went. And that is exactly what Stephen A. Smith was talking about. In a human resource, as a company, you have an HR department. Every company, major company, has a human resources department that handles these type of disputes within the company and in-house. So this was not something that was done by the NBA. The National Basketball Association did not have any involvement in this situation whatsoever. This is a team matter. That's why the NBA, you have not seen Adam Silver come out and make a statement about Ime Udoka. All these days that went past, you ain't see the NBA say it. Not once did they make a statement because they're not cleaning up this mess. Hit the like button, good people. I know y'all just got here in this early, but hit the like button because we cooking with Crisco now. Look. They did not want to clean up the Boston Celtics mess. This is their mess. And they're not going to clean it up for them. They're going to have to clean up their own mess. This is an in-house situation, and y'all going to have to deal with it. Had this been Brad Stevens, and this had happened with the coach, there would have been a talk. They would have settled everything first before it even leaked to the general public, anything. Then it would have been a press conference and they would have announced that the coach had been suspended. Stevens would have put out a press release and that would have been done. Right then and there, they'd have answered all the questions, everything would have been resolved. It'd have been a one-day event. That show would have been over had this been Brad Stevens. That's how we know Dave Brown said the husband made the Celtics go public. Udoka leaked the info. We're going to get to that. Because I told you, this is somebody who's the vice president of finance. But we're going to get into that later. We're going to get into Taylor. We're going to get into him, his involvement with the Boston Celtics. We're going to get into all of it. Because he's been there before he moved up in the company too. He's somebody who was basically just like a towel boy basically for the company before he ended up ascending up to the top to where he is. But we'll get to that. We'll get to that, and we'll get to him, and you'll get that information later when we connect all the dots here so that you can have a bigger picture as to how crazy this thing was. But the situation that the coach was snitched on by the players is a lie. There's 100% lie. The players had nothing to do with any of this. And if any of them knew, they damn sure weren't going to say anything about the coach, even if they disliked him. This is just a policy players just don't do. Coaches don't do to other players. Whoever somebody's sleeping with, it's their business. As long as you ain't messing up the team, they can give a damn. No, he wasn't literally a towel boy, but he had a very low position. Like he used to go get food for the players and stuff like this before he became vice president of finance. It's a whole thing. We'll go down that list, but he was somebody lower tier. He wasn't literally the towel boy, but low tier. But we're gonna go. How come he didn't say this? I don't know. He should know this if he knows what I know. But a lot of people don't talk to Whitlock that I know of. Some of them do, but a few of them don't. Now, a lot of people reached out to me after my video went out because they say, I like the fact you didn't name the person and you didn't say the person's name, but we know you know what's going on. I'm like, yeah, pretty much, I know. Everybody who knows something really, they know. But I wanted to defend the players because everybody decided to go after Jaylen Brown. Now, here's the thing. This is a Celtics situation. The Celtics should have handled this whole situation behind closed doors. So either you terminated him or suspended him right on the spot, but you had everything taken care of first before it went out and leaked. Saying Udoka leaked it, I don't know where that came from. That wouldn't make any sense that Udoka would leak the information to the general public. But before everything broke, he did let Nia Long be aware of what's going on. That I do know. Nia Long was told days before we found out that this was getting ready to come out. So she found out this week also. But she found out a couple of days. Udoka told her before it started to leak out. And admitting what he did and everything else. So she didn't find out on Twitter. It just looks like that. But she found out a couple of days before this thing broke. Why did they suspend him and didn't fire him? Because he's black. So they got to make it look like they're giving him all the proper everything. And they pointed out like, no, see, he's along with everything. And it's like, well, since it was consensual, will there be anybody else being punished? No. They said it just as blunt as that. No, he's the only one. She never wanted to marry him is not the truth. They never. They've been engaged for 5 years. They never could really have the time for a wedding or marriage. She was always working. He was always working. I told you that was one of the things that was brought up with the problems with the relationship, as he used to get other women. Is that we're mostly like a celebrity couple. We make appearances, and that's that. You know, we only see each other a couple months out of a year, like almost 2 months if you put all our time together. Like we might have a weekend, we could see each other. You know, she's working in another town, I'm coaching here, and it was like that their whole relationship. You know, because when they were dating, they would just meet up in towns like booty calls. Is basically because he was always traveling from team to team. He went from Portland, San Antonio, and he's now coaching from here to there. So now it was never anything really stable. And it was perfect for her because she was moving around. She's doing NCIS, she's in California, she's in New York, she's in Canada. She had to go film another television show that she was doing somewhere else. So she stayed moving around. Now she was getting ready to retire in Boston. Like they were going to get a house in Boston and everything. So the girl who's actually the one he was sleeping with is handling the travel arrangements for her to come to Boston. That's the mother of his child. To say he wasn't that into her would be ridiculous because he didn't have to be with her if that was the case. He could have broke it off at any point. You know, I mean, Nia had her fun out there, but she's single. She was single. She was taking advantage of her fame. Well, definitely hit the like button for sure. There's 800 people in here. We gotta have more likes. See, that's where the racism come in at. They wanted to humiliate Udoka. See, that's why it was released the way it was. He was suspended, but his name is thrown in lights immediately. It's like the perp walk, the walk of shame. His name is thrown up in lights. Everybody get to like tar and feather his name while they're still going along trying to find out all the facts of the situation. And he's like, I'm cool with the 1 year suspension. Boom. He's not coming back to Boston. That is, so they should have just fired him anyway, but they were like, we fire him too much, then we get Black Lives Matters, there's protests, like what we did to a black coach, and we don't want that. So let's just suspend him, then when things get quiet, we'll terminate him and release the rest of the information and the findings, and then if the people will say, okay, well, he can lose his job. So this is what they want to do. Told you. That's how they work. But this would have never happened in Brad Stevens' case if Stevens had did anything like this or any other white coach. Never would have been handled like this. Because what they do is handle it in-house. They don't handle it in the media. So the sister, that's one of the girls that's out there, one of the women that's out there, that's the ringside and courtside interviewer, she was pissed because she has a family and her family is seeing this. Then her friends are asking her, was it her? Was it her? Was it her? And everybody on social media is calling it out to be her. And she was pissed that the Celtics organization wasn't doing anything to protect the women, as all of the women were being attacked, even the black women. Nobody cared. The Celtics didn't care when it was the black women. Only when the white girl complained did they come out and Brad Stevens got that face. It's bull how they just taking people who's not involved and they just running with it. You can't control social media, but I just wanted to say that. That's just to try to show like he had some solidarity. They didn't care anything when the sisters were being thrown around. They just did their job and said, no, sorry, that wasn't me. Sorry, I'm not the girl. That wasn't me, such and such. They didn't even have her back. But when the white girl complained, oh, buddy, the Celtics, they felt our women need to be protected. You ain't care nothing about what the sisters had to say. This is about Udoka. Yeah, it's about Udoka and the woman that messed around with him. She's a part of this too. Because if she wasn't out here trying to get the soul pole, this wouldn't be the case. She gave up the cookies. She was the one cheating on her husband. He ain't married. He's a single man. Well, he's not a single man. He's in a relationship, but he's unmarried. She the one that's married. She the one that's risking it all. You ain't satisfied your husband is the senior vice president of finance? You out here searching for the soul pole. Yeah, and then she got that soul pole. Next thing you know, she getting her hair braided. she walking around with jeans with holes in them. She got these long fingernails. She's chewing gum, snapping. Got the gloss going. Snapping her hand. You ain't gonna be doing that. She gonna be like, honey, I mean, what's with this? That's rhinestones in your nails. How did you get that in there? You want to get that off? I can make an appointment down at Ultras. I put them in there. Don't they look cute? I guess is this the new thing that's going on? I'm just trying to look fly. Don't be hating on me, okay? Because I don't want to cut you. And he was like, I can't, something's going on with my wife. So Malika Andrews is she's already in a relationship with one of the writers. I think Chris McMillan. So she's like one of the writers with him, another LeBron plant that's at ESPN. But that's who she's been dating. But I got a video coming out about Malika Andrews that's gonna really expose everything, and they're gonna be glad I made it. But yeah, you guys will know the truth of what's been happening behind the scenes. Yeah, but her dating history isn't important. Like no one cares. That mostly everybody date and sleep with their work. If no matter what the job is, you've seen. I worked at a job where every single human being in there were married except for me, and every single human being in there were all cheating and sleeping with people inside that building. It was. I told you. One guy told me, "Hey, I'm not married. My wife is married." You made it sound logical. Go on and continue doing what you're doing. And they have what they call the work wife. The chick that they messing with, they're married. Their husbands are at home. What happens at work stays at work. I mean, they live like two different lives. They come there, they have lunch together. The company had to change the policy for the Christmas parties. Because the Christmas parties where you bring your wife out and your family, they had to do that once a year because it was a big fight when one of the husbands was fighting one of the guys, one of the work husbands, and they was like, "Oh, okay, this is crazier than we thought. This is happening all over," and it was affecting all of them. And some of the work wives they're so close, they know everything about each other on both sides. They know that the woman ain't gonna tell because she's married, and he knows he ain't gonna tell because he's married. So they just have their fun at work. So you have the work wife or the work husband. When you go home to your real family, then at the Christmas party, people act like, "Hey, this is what it is." So I had to save one of my buddies because you never know what be happening at the house. So wives find out. And when the wives find out, it'd be hell and high water. And I walked out the door getting ready to leave, and my buddy's wife was there. And he's dating this bad chick at the job. I mean, he went through a whole midlife crisis. He was back to being 20. He's buying motorcycles, riding around, going to the gym with her. She had him on point. And I'm like, way to go. But his wife and kids, boy, she drove up there with the kids in the car. And, and as soon as normally he would walk out with the new chick from the job. I knew he was gonna do that, so I had to run in there and tell him quick. So I ran interference, ran into his wife. "Hey, how you doing?" She was like, "Oh, okay, I'm good." She was on a mission. She wasn't trying to have a conversation. I'm like, "That's cool. I haven't seen you since the Christmas party. How's everything been?" Yeah. I was like, "All right, let me go grab my stuff and I'm gonna get out of here. You take it easy." She's like, "All right." I went in, I grabbed her, like, "Don't go out there." And I'm like, "Your wife is out there with the kids in the car. Don't go." See, I had to right away stop a fire from happening. Your wife is out there. Don't do it. So he let the girl go out by herself. She got in her car and left. Then he came out. Like, what you doing up here? And she's going off on him. And I was like, see? See? That's the real, baby. That's how it be. So anybody having sex at the workplace, like Matt Barnes told you the truth. He isn't the first. He is not the first. But there's more to the story than what people know. And him banging a chick at the job is not the problem. It's the activities that happen that's going to cost him his job of being with the Boston Celtics. And pretty much get him out of the NBA. He won't be in the NBA after this. He's the he's the vice president of finance. It's Taylor, okay? And we're gonna get into that a little later when we tell you guys how they actually found out. No, but we worked together. So that was the difference. She wasn't mad at me. She didn't know I wouldn't even told him that. Compared to what Brett Favre has done, this is nothing. Of course, this story is used in the way it is and being promoted because it gets Robert Salver out of the news. They don't want to make it look like the girl, she was out there going for the soul pole. He had to be on the prowl for the white girl. See, that's how it looked. We chased the white girls around. Now, she didn't want the soul pole. They can't have it like that. She's a married woman with 3 kids. She wanted the soul pole. Whoa, just saying that just to keep the suspense going. I'm here to tell you it will be years before you see him back anywhere on an NBA coaching floor. Because y'all don't even know how they found out. I know how the Celtics found out. And it's not because of a player. That is the rumor that's been going around that is completely false, 100% false. No player went in there and told on the coach. Oh yeah, we'll do that this afternoon because I'm gonna be on the Patreon talking about it first. So after this, if you're a Casino for Life Patreon member, you're gonna know right away. You know, all the VIP members, y'all got it, and then you guys will get it probably later on today. Reporters didn't know a damn thing. They weren't even they everybody was basically in the dark. The NBA, everybody. Yeah, the Celtics, will they miss his coaching? Yes, they will. The assistant coach is decent, but no, he's a tool. So they'll make the playoffs, but they will perish in the playoffs. The Casino for Life Patreon will have it. Oh yeah, the Patreon version is definitely going to be the difference here. Yeah, nobody's concerned about her. And this is why every time they try to bring up the woman, she gets defensive. Malika Andrews, she just gets all defensive. If it's somebody's attacking the woman. That's why she couldn't have me on that panel. Malika Andrews like, we don't want to. And Udoka here is IB. Look, this would have never started. It takes two to tangle, baby. Did he just call me baby? That's right, baby. It takes two to tangle. And I'm going to tell you, this wouldn't have started if it wasn't for Udoka and for her. She's married with 3 kids, and she the one decided she couldn't keep her thing in her pants. You know how them redheads are. Yeah, that wouldn't have went over well.
And I know that some got
I'd be like, you know how them redheads is. Like, redheads get wetter than anything. It don't take them long to get going. They get total Niagara Falls. She wanted that soul pole, and she's a freak. And she had to have it. And she put it on him. And he like, wow, this redhead is freaky. So how you gonna exclude her from everything like she the angel? Because they want to make it look like the black man just had to go after that white woman. He had to. He chased her. Wasn't the other way around. Can't have white women looking for black guys. They're not gonna, they can't promote that. Oh boy, good old Boston. Straight Boston, baby. Welcome to the Boston. That's why they handling this in house. She would be humiliated. She's gonna have to explain why she was chasing Soul Pole. There's guy, you were in search of the Soul Pole. You didn't want the North Pole no more. You wanted that South Pole. Of course, she had to delete her social media accounts. They're going to use every picture against her. Her wedding picture, all of it. It is over. Everything gone. Hey, C-Mac. Another moronic take. What's moronic about it? Man, look. D Fish was out here banging all the players' girlfriends. That's what I'm saying. D Fish was out here fishing on the damn team. He was nailing the doggone teammates, chicks. They lost Tim Hardaway girl. She was getting go. Derek Longstroke Fisher was in there fishing, baby. He was in there fishing for trout. All while he was on the Knicks. He forgot about the coaching job. And where he ended up. Do you think he got another job coaching? He was coaching the damn Liberty somewhere. Or the Los Angeles Sparks or something. They had him in some WNBA. He ain't getting back in the league. Wherever there's trout, Derek Longstroke Fisher be right there to make the bus. Derek Fisher was on that team to find out who was lesbian and who wasn't. Hey, but coach, what kind of exercise is this? Just gonna let us know who our lesbians are, and and who's on the ball. You want to know that? All you gotta do is ask D Fish, baby. She is humiliated. Oh, it's finna get even worse. That's what I said. I'm gonna go on the Patreon. We're gonna do a live stream on the Patreon. Or we're gonna do the video over there. Uh, and we're gonna post. It's gonna be on VIP. So if you part of the Casino for Life, because hopefully everybody here is subscribed already. We're gonna go over to the Patreon, and when we go to the Patreon, we're gonna put it out there, and then we'll do one on YouTube probably later on today, so y'all will have it later. But everybody right now, if y'all VIP members, y'all can roll over to the Patreon, and then we're gonna fill in all the gaps. You're gonna know why and how the Celtics found out. And it is not from a player. No player came over and said anything anything about the coach or none of that stuff. No, did not happen. Yes, we're gonna be putting some intricate details that's on the Patreon version, so you'll know that. Meanwhile, the rest of you who don't have the Patreon and does not VIP members, well, later on, what you'll be seeing is the Malika Andrews video. So, with that being said, thanks to everybody who hit the like button, everybody who subscribed. Hopefully, you hit that notification bell so that every time we go live, you get an alert. So, I'm out. God bless.